What's going on? So here we are. I've had a lot of people ask me to do some videos on the OpenLabs Neko. So this is the last generation of the Nikos that were built. This is the QX6, but this one was upgraded before it left the factory, so that it was more in line with the Neko Double XL. Before the QX6, they had the LX5. This kind of took over. They dropped the LX5 line, which actually had it was almost like a scribble for DJing and stuff right here, also with the mouse trackpad. But they kind of dropped the LX5 from the line, and then went to the QX6. So I had a couple upgrades on this actually done before it even left the factory. Long story short, when I got it, it wasn't that great. The possibilities of it were fantastic, but the main things that were really bad with it is that they put cheap off-brand Chinese RAM in it, so a lot of it crashed all the time. Matter of fact, from the Timbo edition to the double XLs to the Mikos, they all had really shoddy RAM in them, and they were really known for crashing pretty much. Matter of fact, I was watching OpenLabs and Victor Wong did it was like a trial run. They had a little band that was on stage or whatever, and they showed them like at a festival. And I remember watching them. They were using, I believe it was an LX5, and the goddamn thing crashed right in the middle of their set. So they didn't want to put the sufficient RAM in it. So when I got it, the upgrades on this that I just had done 2 years ago to make it more current. Also, I've got a SSD Samsung drive in there. The original Western Digital drive is in there. The fan was upgraded, although the fan that was originally in it wasn't loud at all by any means. Also had 16 gigabytes of Crucial Ballistics RAM that's in it. And then also had, what else did I have done? Other than a full cleaning, I had different insert points on the back redone as far as for the TRS jacks and stuff like that. Um, and I think there was one other thing that I had done with it. I can't remember what it was right offhand. It was just another small upgrade too. But other than that, it has now been flawless. I still run Windows 7 on it. I never upgraded to 10. A lot of you guys out there have upgraded to 10 and you don't have driver software anymore. So if you try to upgrade this by yourself to 10, chances are you're going to lose all your driver software and you're going to have a paperweight. That's not the way these worked. So unless you gave them to the factory when OpenLabs was open to get them to install Windows 10 on it, you're not going to have much luck. And finding the driver software for it for Windows 10 is next to impossible. A lot of you guys out there who can't get your units to work right on Windows 10, and probably you've been looking for driver software for years, you're just not going to find it. And it's, you know what I mean? The Windows 7, like I still have all my driver software. I have everything because I cloned the original hard drive. I have all of that stuff. And the bad thing is those drivers won't work with 10. So if you're on Windows 7, stay on Windows 7. If you have a unit, if you buy one of these units and it's on 7, stay on 7. Don't do anything stupid. Windows 7 for these were actually rock solid for audio. Windows 8 was bad. Windows 10 was bad until they came up with the update that's right before Windows 11. That is actually pretty solid for audio. Other than that, Windows 7 was solid as a rock. This right here runs on a Windows Wave suite. So I still have like the gold package in here for being able to mix beats. I have FabFilter. I have a bunch of other stuff. VSTI instruments. At one time I did have Massive. I had the NI contacts on there. I ended up taking those off and swapped those into my studio computer and then upgraded everything because I have a vocal computer that I use in the studio too that is mainly for new age production. So I have like more new age stuff on my vocal computer. This right here I use mainly for sample work. It's I don't get it twisted up. I have like 29,000 different instruments in this. If you can't do anything with 29,000 instruments, stop doing music because it ain't for you. But other than that, this thing still is fantastic. I'll load samples in it, chop them up, put them on the pads, or like let's say if I'm playing with like the MPCs or the MV88,000s, I will get everything ready here and then send it over to the 88,000. So everything's cross-faded exactly where I want it. Send it to the 88,000, and then I'll actually resample it back in here if I want that sound from the, or not 88,000, 8800. If I want the sound from the 8800 in here, because it does have its own sound too, then I'll just re-put it back in. But if not, I'll just do all the work right in here. Or if I am looking for drum shots from Splice or something, I'll put it right through here where the Firebox interface is, and I'll just put it right in. Or a record player. I have Audio-Technica record players, so I really want to get done with it. I'll do that here too. Here's the thing is this still goes 24-bit with 44.1 and 44.8 and up to 96, which you have no reason to go 96. So I'm still able to run clear audio to this day. And this thing originally came out when I bought it. Actually, the last gen was 2012. We're sitting at 2023 now, and it's still relevant. So anyway, long spiel. It's still an amazing machine. I would still put this machine up against new keyboards like MPC keys, Chord Kronos, anything out today. I would put this right up against it. And I'm going to tell you why this would actually beat the shit out of it. When you get Chord Kronos, MPC keys, let's just go through it. The new MPC X, the Yamaha Montage, any of that, okay? And I'm going to tell you why this whoops the shit out of it. Because of the effects, the plugins. So I run Studio One 4 off this. I have Studio One 6 in the vocal computer. The thing is in this, I can get really in-depth with a mix. Like if I just want to do a 2-track mix and send it over the beat or whatever, I can get in-depth with this. On the MPC X or the keys or the Kronos, and I've played them all. The Montage, the EQ, for instance, I can pull up FabFilter and get surgical on here if I need to, which is great for sampling. Sometimes the aliasing on the top ends of samples really starts to get twangy, high-pitchy, and piercy if you start to downgrade the sample or you start to down-tune the sample, and you can fix that here. You can't fix that in the MPC keys, the X. You can't do any of that. They have very minimal effect processing, especially for dynamics. This, you can run, you know what I mean, as far as like in the Wave Suite, if you want to do 1176s on your drums, LA2As or something for softer instruments, you can do all that here. You cannot do that with those boards. And that's why just that alone, you can make a serious mix here. I can always tell if I've heard something off of MPC. I'm going to tell you why. The drums alone tell me if something's made off of MPC, because the kicks, number one, the kicks in the MPC are already adjusted to smack. The bad thing is those don't always fit right in a mix. So then you're having to cut around that sometimes 200 to 500 area because there's like a hollow thump sound in the kick and it doesn't sound right. And honestly, unless they're going to run everything individual out, which most of the time, 90% of the time they don't. But if they run all the indies out to the sound card or whatever, to whatever interface they're using inside like software that they're going to record vocals on, then yeah, you can go ahead and do that. But other than that, most people just 2-track the beat. And I can always tell all the time if it was done on like a machine like that or something, because they don't have an in-depth thing. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. We're going to go, I guess we'll go ahead and experiment with a beat or something like that. This is like literally I have my monitor on because this plugs into the monitor through a DVI port. And I'm going to go ahead and just boot it right up so you can see what the boot up time and everything is. And I think you'll be surprised. It doesn't take long. So the thing is when you hook a monitor into the DVI, this will actually auto-rotate upside down so your full screen's in front of you. If you don't have a screen connected into the Neko, everything here will be either landscaped or portrait, whatever you want it to be, but it'll be right side up. As you can see right now, it's right side up. I'll turn the screen on, and it's already ready to go, by the way. That was probably a 10-second boot up time, and it's ready to go. So the only thing I'm waiting on now is the monitor, because I didn't have that on. So as you can see, this monitor just flipped upside down, and here's the right-facing monitor that is the controller for the Neko. One thing that I really liked to do when I first got the Neko, because I did a lot of studio work and I had so many monitors, I wouldn't have this here. I'd have like a 7-inch monitor that I bought, it was a 9-inch monitor. Acer makes them, and I would just park it right here, and it was so much easier to be able to do stuff. So like I said, this thing booted up in 10 to 11 seconds. My studio computer still takes like 15. And it is a complete monster with like 248 gigs of RAM. It is an amazing machine that was built by Vision DAW strictly for studio stuff, which Vision DAW makes all the stuff for composer Hans Zimmer and everything else. So, I mean, as you can see, again, 2012. Boom, boots right up. And for those of you wondering whether the new SSD made a difference or not, in boot up time, it absolutely did not. It boots up about the same time with the Western Digital regular HD than it does with the SSD. So, anyway, we'll jump right into something. Like I said, I run Studio 4. I could trick this up to Studio 1.6 because they still make Studio 1.6 versions with 32-bit float for Windows 7. But it's not broke. I'm not going to fix it. There's no reason to. I have so many sounds in this that I don't need to. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to do sampling work. But I have all strings, real instruments in this that sound great. Everything still sounds good in this board. So this is about the same time that it takes to even boot up in the vocal computer. We'll just go create a new song. As you can see, I still have 24-bit here, 16-bit, and 32-bit float. I'm good to go. I don't need anything else. As far as still on my sample rates, I'm all the way up to 96 if I want to be. There's no reason to go that high. 48, a lot of film and video editing go 48. 41 is still a great standard. 86 is really getting into high-powered stuff, and you don't need it. You know what I mean? So we'll go ahead and do that. Everything's good, and we're already on our way. Now, if I wasn't talking, we would have already been into making a beat 20 seconds after boot up, or 20 seconds after hitting this button over here to even turn this machine on. So that's one thing I had somebody say is, yeah, but it probably takes you like 2 minutes to get started on a beat. No, it doesn't. You ever try to boot up a Kronos or a Montage or like a Phantom X6 or something like that? Yeah, good luck. You're going to get real fucked on that one. So on instruments over here, I left this bare bones now, so I use most of all the stuff that's over here like on that Studio One comes with, because of the fact I moved most of all my other plugins to my other main computer. But one thing that I do, like I'll just pull, let's say if I just pull presence over, right? So move that from here to here. I haven't used this in a hot sec, so my window configuration's there. But the thing is not only do like I have all my main stuff, so I have SFZ files that have a real nice gritty sound. Just tons. And each of these files has like 700 instruments in them too. You know what I mean? Just with all these alone, also with PreSonus's little get up that they got, I literally have around 28,000. And the thing is a lot of these sounds are sounds that you're not finding everywhere else either. A lot of these were things that I scoured the internet for years to put together. You know what I mean? Like they're things that you don't find everywhere. So I have everything here, the sound routed through solid state logic SSL6, because I use that as the last part of the chain in one of my vocal mics, other than going through the hardware compressors and everything in the preamps that I have, and then they finally hit the SSL6. This is also going through the SSL6. It does kind of open the sound up a little bit, but this board on its own has its own real punchy sound that even with the Quantum 2626 interface that I use for vocals, to me this sounds punchier than that. So as far as vocals go, I've mixed some vocals down through here, which I actually have a song. I can play that too. But other than that, like... So you hear, that's a real, and that's one of the SFZ files. So I really hand selected so many. And like, even if you put like reverb, and let's say we'll spot a little delay in there, maybe a little 16. So yeah, I mean, even there, like, so there was no need for me to have all that other stuff on here. You know what I mean? So far, when I use this, like I said, I use this a lot for sampling and making those really dirty Benny the Butcher Conway type beats. And even a lot on here too. I have a lot of old school stuff that is a lot like, and to make a beat, by the way, we're going to go ahead and use some emu stuff, like from back in the day emu stuff. Because that emu stuff really still hits. You know what I mean? Like I have all the Proteus 2, Proteus 3. Like I have all that gritty, great stuff from making hip hop, like old school hip hop that just slaps you in the face. So from here, let's go ahead and find, let's find like the MoFat or something like that. So Timberland used to like to use the MoFat and stuff too. And see, I have so many different kits. You know what I mean? So things that just sound really punchy and alive. Kawaii, like I seriously have so much, like so many different sounds. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I have some sound files and some things that are saved. We'll pull some of those into a session. I'm going to go ahead and cut. And then I'll show you how quick it really is to get into really like doing some damage with this board. Bear with me. I love this board. I've used this board for well over a decade. I probably haven't used this board in 8 months though. You know what I mean? So we're going to go over here. Let's go to files. And I'm going to pull up a bunch of files. All these are just like wave files that I have of just certain stuff that I've collected over the decades. Some of it's Studio One, some of it's stuff I went out and found. In our day, like you had to go out and find the stuff that you wanted. You know what I mean? So, and I'm still with that now. Like I still will search for a sound. So let's go to sample. So from right here, we're gonna go ahead and use this sample. And then we're going to just kind of tap the tempo and figure out exactly what it is, and then we'll drag it. So we're just going to hit the play button. Okay, cool. So we're probably sitting somewhere with the tap tempo around 120-ish. That's going to be enough to really figure it out, to drag it in, and then we'll fine-tune adjust it. So we'll take this, drag it right in, and boom, just that quick, drag and drop. So doesn't sound too bad. So we're kind of right on the money with it. And then, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and copy this. Now let's go ahead and chop this because I definitely want that there. I will get rid of the rest of this. And now I'm going to take this copy of it, and that's where I'm going to really play with, because I know I want this for sure. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this. Now here's the thing that is so beautiful about this board. So this board works like anything else in your DAW, except it's all on the one unit, and you can drag everything to these pads and play. The transport controls, I don't have them rigged up right now, but I can rig them to control all Studio One. I can control reverb levels with here. Anything I want to do, I can do it here. I did have the transport controls on here, but then I was using a different system, so I ended up wiping it out because I had a different workflow. But now, like I said, if I wanted to go back into the macros, I could easily just use these transport controls. So just to show you how easy it is, we'll go ahead and use our splice tool, and we'll make sure that we're connected here, and we'll just go ahead and cut, like, let's say if we cut here, 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 here. So we'll get 9 bars worth. Let's go ahead and just take this. We'll delete the rest because we're just going to do this for the sake of a video. So now that we have all these here, we'll go ahead and hit that, expand it. Let's crossfade some things so we don't get snaps and pops. Snaps and pops. So from here now, we have one of two choices of what we can do with this. So we can either run this to the sampling keyboard that Studio One provides, or I can send it to the drum hits. So from there we can take that, and I'll show you exactly how easy this can be. So let's go over to the instruments, and this is why I kind of keep this board bare bones, because you get too much stuff going on in one board or one piece of software, it is an absolute nightmare to try to get anything done because you're too busy trying to play with everything instead of just getting right down to it. So like I'll open Impact, drag Impact over, bring my window. Once you bring all your windows up to your main window, you won't have to do that anymore. So now I have all of these here, right? So you can just take this, because they're all configured, drag and drop. So there's also, you can take these all and it'll give you a choice of where you want to put them on the pads. I always like to go individual because I want to mix things up a little bit. So maybe this one right here that's in the sequence, I'll put here. And then I'll backtrack here and put this one here. And then put this one here. So it's that easy to drag everything to your pads. The only thing you have to do is just assign your pads. Now you can already get a template to pull up if you want to. That way it'll automatically do it. But like in Studio One, like we would click on this and then go to your toggle button, make sure you're on, and then hit 1. So the choke is going to stop a pad every time a new pad comes in. We'll put them all in the same choke because it doesn't really matter. And the last one. So now when you hit them, so yeah, that's kind of where that goes. Now, there are volume differences in these. And the thing is I could have taken them and then kind of just EQ'd them out a little different so that everything was sitting a little more level. Or I could even ran a limiter through it first, bounce the file down, and then did it. But we're just trying to get like a quick video out, so it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? So now that you have these, everything's on your pads. So it's that easy. So now let's go ahead and hit record, and we will just get some things cracking real quick. And I'm going to show you why this board really peaks when you get your beats all rolled out, man. So we'll hit our metronome, just hit record. Again, I could set the transports up. Oop, let's undo that. Take that off. There we go. Mute this out so we're not hearing that original one. Cool, man. We are ready. That up. Now, the sound sounds really good. I like it, but there's like a lot of fuzz and a lot of low mid energy going on in it. So let's go ahead and switch off to an EQ of some sort or fab filter. guess is that this sample was already heavily compressed as it was by the way it looks. Let's go ahead and take that out. We'll go ahead and just use just that little bit so we can get some nice low in there. There, it already sounds better. We'll go ahead and shave this up and actually just copy that. There, I mean, even if you solidify that, you just start throwing some drums in it, kind of see where everything sits. 808 drums I have stored. Maybe we can get like some hi-hats going first, just to really pick the energy up. Ah, there it is. So, important thing to note too. So on this, also there's on the drum module, there's also a repeat. So if I want to set that up, I can do it like an MPC where I hit this and then just let it repeat there. I'm more of a fan of using Studio One stuff, and I'll show you why. Because I can change the rates right where I'm at. So the thing is all that is kind of done like automation when you record it. So we'll kind of do something like that and then we'll just rip it loose. I think it's this. Trick it at the end with the 1632 hit. From there, it sounds like it's a little too far on the mark, so let's go ahead and click all these off the mark, except maybe those last two at the end, just because it gives it like a little bit of a shake, you know what I mean? Like, we don't want everything to sound too heavily quantized, because then it just starts to sound like machined, and we don't want that. So let's go ahead and take that, let's go ahead and click our grid off, let's expand this a little bit, and then let's just move these maybe, you know, just a hair off. You hear at the end, those two I didn't mess with really tie that all back in. Cool, man. Let's drag down another impact. Let's go find like some trap kicks. I have and like I said, drum kit wise, I have a million in here. Not only do I have a million that PreSonus already gave you, and I already bought a lot of them, but I also have like my own files that I painstakingly over the years grabbed that I could drag wave files in at any time I want. Like this right here is like my Dre kit for old school boom bap. This ain't that type of track. So I do have some trap kits that I've found over the years that they work literally on everything. I'm yet to find anything that they don't work on, and they always sound good. So kicks punchy, always just, I can fit them in anywhere. Even like this kick, that's gonna sound like that because we gotta turn the active off. Again, I can minimize this window as well. Now, the reason why we're looking for a punchy kit, if we're going to do something like this, so we can let an 808 breathe. For those that are new to music production. And actually, that kick too right there doesn't even... kind of sounds like it might be within the wheelhouse. So it was one off. So yeah, man, we're going to start that right off jump. first I thought the quantize was going to hit. Maybe that kick was going to be a little off, but no, that's okay. So now that we do have this, let's go ahead and fly off another hi-hat. So let's go. We'll duplicate that first kit that we had these hi-hats on, and we're going to hit them with another hi-hat, except this hi-hat will be a different sound and a different quantize. So we'll go ahead. Sounds really good like that. Let's go ahead and do that. So yeah, we run that. That because this right here, and we're going to go ahead and name that hi-hat bridge. Now we'll delete this, come up, let's mute this, and now let's start the 4 to 8T just for a variation of the hi-hat. I'm just going to copy that because it's exactly what I want. And if I want any other variations, I'll come right in here into the mix window, and I'll just go ahead and put it on my piano roll or wherever I want to go ahead and put it, and I'll do all my changes there. You know what I mean? So like if I was going to do, I would probably click in my mix windows and I would put these notes a little far off from the grid just because I don't want everything to be so quantized. Notice, we don't even have a snare yet. We're still working on doing the snare there. 808 snare, why not? Hit that. Somewhere in there I hit a snare that sounded really good. Too. So let's go ahead and take that. I believe it was there. And notice I don't have my grid. I want to be able to free float that thing in there. You know what I mean? Maybe a little far off. Maybe off that next one. But see, the thing is, I want this to hit hard and I want this to hit a little softer. Because we're giving it some variation. See how it goes from down to up? Now we'll go ahead and find some 808 magic or some sun magic. So I have so many different 808 drums, as most people do. Messed up because of the fact that you can't do anything past that, because like the compression on them kind of works a little bit because they have their own little onboard compressors and everything, but you can't get anything with the dynamics. So the 2-track that you're mixing just comes down and then it kind of just sounds flubbery and everything else. You know what I mean? So this is why this is the answer. This thing is still the ultimate machine. So from here, let's go ahead and take this. A lot of people always wonder, like, what do I do first? Do I EQ? Do I compress first? So EQ before compression, compression after EQ. Depends on the signal. This one right here, I can already tell you that this 808 is going to be jacked up probably all the way. So because it is, it's going to throw a compressor off. So I'm going to lightly EQ this before I throw it in the compressor. And see, I can tell by listening, there's a lot of good low in there, but that's going to really throw off the basis of my compressor. So right there at 64 hertz, let's throw a different shelf in there. Slope that thing so it's more of a square. A lot of the 808, the characteristics of the 808, they live right in these areas. They don't live in the low end like what people think. But there is this thud. You hear that repercussion of the sound which makes the cone jerk real hard? That is what's wrong with like the MPC and everything, is because you can't get that out hardly with the MPC surgically without sending it track by track to a DAW. So now we can go ahead and lift that right over to a compressor to really control it. So we're going to compress this hard ratio. Also gets a good distortion. Obviously, if we're going like 10, we're going like on a limiting. Let's go pull that threshold. Let's set our attack to the slowest it'll go, the release to the quickest it'll go, and then we'll start adjusting. Hitting the attack time and the release times are what's most important, because you want the compressor to breathe with the time. By about 12, which isn't unheard of. We can come up a little bit. Compress it by about 7. Now we can go and crank this up and really hear it. So now we really have that signal controlled really well. That thing is beat inside the studio. So now that we have that, and again, this is just the backbone basics, man, because this is where when you start to get the feel of it, you really go through and then start doing switches in the samples and things of that nature, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and let's throw some things on top of it, man. Let's really look and see what we got inside more instruments. quantize off, and we'll do that instrument by hand. Either way, that's about as simple as it is, man. You could literally, if you want to get in depth, you could get crazy. From like, honestly, from boot up time to getting into the software, I could have already, like if you was really on a mission to make some beats, you could have had something in 4 minutes. That's from the time you boot up to the time you get stuff going to the time you get an idea pressed. You know what I mean? So honestly, still to this day, this machine, when it comes to getting down to business, beats the shit out of everything. And normally I would have like an MV88 100 there. To the side, like I have Roland VS 5080 that's fully maxed out. And you can get that real big, loud, punchy sound with all that. Or you can just take this and 2-track it right down after you render everything down. But that's the best part about this, is the full mix capabilities that you can give everything, and with whatever VSTs you want. Which, FYI, if you still get one of these to this day, you can most certainly still find things on Windows 7. You know what I mean? Like, let's really push the ballot on this so we can hear it. So we'll punch this in. That way we can hear exactly what's going on with it. if you're making beats and it's all in one, there's literally nothing you still cannot do with this board. I would put money on this board before almost any software out, before any keyboard out. So anyway, just some quick little beat makings. Hit me up with. I seem to get a lot of comments and questions from people about their Nikos or Mikos or whatever they get because they're just now getting them. I've been with these boards for over 12 years. I know these boards inside out. You know what I mean? Especially under the hood, from the things that OL did by making like their own processing boards that the Guru pads go right into. So if you have questions, hopefully I can help you out. I know a lot of people are like, hey, can you help me get my board run online? I'm in Michigan, so there's like a fat chance of that. You know what I mean? One thing I would tell you is if your board's messed up, look at the RAM. Start swapping the RAM out first. If the hard drive seems messed up, take it to a computer shop or buy a hard drive cloner. These usually came with Acronis on them, so you could back up your system. Clone your hard drives. You know what I mean? That way, once you clone a hard drive and then you have a new hard drive, keep that hard drive locked away so that way if anything happens, you can revert back. So feel free to give questions and comments. So other than that, man, thanks for tuning in. If you guys have anything else that you want me to do, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll see about maybe what I can do on the board, whether it's sampling, just going through more instruments. But remember, there were no instruments on this board after I deleted everything out because they just gave you stock bare bone freeware, and I put all the stuff on and searched for the sounds I wanted on this board. Or you can put any VSTI you want. So things that you cannot do with Kronos, you can't do with MPC keys or X unless you buy their stuff. It's kind of like Apple. But anyway, peace out.